couple of years down the road, um, you are in your kitchen. You got the radio going as you're cutting up your goddamn onions. You look down at the white onion that you're making very short work of.
What is this, like a mince, a dice? What am I doing?
You're mincing, you're dicing,
Mincing.
you're slicing.
And those are three different cuts for three different applications. What am I cooking?
So what you're doing is you've sort of like just getting very inspired on cooking lately. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah, I
you're
love
you're
to cook.
you're testing out your various knife techniques. Um, you're it's a summer's evening. You've got the fucking windows open, and you are, like I said, slicing away, stabbing practically. You think of yourself as like disemboweling this onion.
All right.
You've got the radio going.
What am I
Um,
listening to?
you're listening to so there's this parody group called the Bong Boys, and
Yeah.
what they do is they take Beach Boys songs and they just turn them into like getting high and like using bongs and stuff.
Yeah.
So they've, for whatever reason, this is a few years down the road, there has been a, not that they ever necessarily went away, but there has been a big, like a large uptake or uptick of like Beach Boy references in like media, movies, stuff like that. They're just
Why?
being, it's just, it's just one of those things that happens. Why does one thing catch on and not something else? These are questions for smarter men. And so there's like, this parody group. And so they're
The Bonk Boys.
the Bong Boys, and they're going, instead of help me Rhonda, they're going, rip my bong, rip my bong, rip my bong, rip my bong, rip my fucking bong, get high. Do, 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 do. So you're kind of like humming that. The DJ's like, all right, that was the Bong Boys with Rip My Bong here on WLANALAX. This is DJ Jason Light, and I'm sending out a, a special request going out to A. Brooks.
Oh no. I didn't make this request, correct?
No,
In some
it's someone's doing it to you. It's just like the music from Psycho, where it's just like re. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, the part where he fucking murders that poor woman
Yeah.
in the
Comes
shower.
comes back, DJ
That's what
Jason.
they're sending out to me? Is the psycho music?
He's like, "Oh, that was kind of weird."
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be
How
back.
do they allow that?
Well, I mean, it's someone's requesting it. You know what I mean? It's not like,
You don't have to fulfill every request, especially if one so is threatening as the music from the psycho shower stab scene.
yeah. Well, they're going out of their way to like court listeners. You know what I mean? There is like a ratings war happening right now. WLANALAX. They claim to be the only station that really rocks, and that has turned into a firestorm of controversy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
There's another radio station in town,
You kidding me?
uh, WHE double hockey sticks, and they're like,
You hell?
yeah, but they call themselves
HE double hockey sticks.
yeah. So sometimes they just call themselves the Sticks. So they'll be like, you're listening to 97.5 This
The Sticks.
the sticks on your FM
And
dial. And then when sometimes when like they answer the phone, they'll be like, "All right, go ahead, stick me."
no, no, they don't.
They
They
absolutely do.
say, go ahead, stick
Stick me.
me.
They don't always do it. I mean, every
In
once in a while.
reference to HE double hockey sticks,
Double hockey sticks. Yeah.
their own nickname given to their call sign, which is
Yeah.
actually W Hell.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So and so they're like they also claim to be well, the compromise is that they call themselves, the home of rock. We're you know what I mean? So there's the only station that really rocks, uh, which is WLANA LAX. There's a this one, which is the Sticks, and then
Stick me.
the home of rock, and then there's a third station that is like getting into it with them, uh, 101.7 W fuck. They're like where rock lives. So they're kind of seen as like they're like a more alternative station, So like they're not as
Okay.
they don't get as big of ratings, but they are way more daring, dude. And they give creative freedom to their DJs. They actually let the DJs pick the music. You know what I mean? Like they used to back in the day. Hired
Yeah.
not because of, because of their
Some
looks.
program manager,
Right. They were hired because they lived for this type of music. You know what I mean? And so at W Fuck, they only hire really ugly DJs.
Great.
If you're good looking, you cannot work there.
No, get
And
out
so,
of our booth.
yeah. And you'd think that it would bother the people that work there, but no, man, not at all. These are old school. It's an old school mentality of like, yeah, of course we're ugly. We're radio guys. You know what I mean? That was always the thing when I was growing up, except now with like video podcasts and stuff, everybody's, beautiful and all this stuff. And honestly, we're just glad to work at a place that gives us the freedom that this place does.
Yeah.
We're
Well, good for them.
ugly, we're ugly as fuck, and we play rock and roll. This is where rock lives.
Good for them for really embracing that attitude and, you know, coming
So
out and saying, yeah, I'm an uggo.
so you are chopping up that onion, looking down at it, and it is right before you throw it into the sizzling hot pan. You look down, and for a second, like because your eyes like tear up a little bit because of the onions and stuff.
Sure.
Um, and also maybe a little bit about the emotions released when singing along to "Rip My Bong." Um, your vision is like kind of like screwed up, and so you look down at the onions, and for a second, it's like there's a bunch of like diamonds glittering on the cutting board, and you're like, "What the hell?" But then you kind of go, "Huh?" and like shake your head, and they're just regular onions. So you throw them into that sizzling hot pan, and you start grilling these fucking onions. You look to your left and you say, under your breath, but definitely loud enough to be heard, "Hello, old friend," as you gaze at that box of hamburger helper.
Oh, no.
The you look at the and
I
I
say
make
hello, old friend, when I
yeah,
look at
to like
hamburger helper.
that hand or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So you say it to it, and like I
Which
guess
which version of hamburger helper?
what do you mean?
There's like different kinds, you know? They
Oh,
got
okay, yeah,
different.
yeah. So the flavor of this one is called it's called single and ready to mingle.
Oh, no.
So it's you're not totally sure what that means, but you think to yourself, "Hey man, this is the hamburger helper standard. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. I'll try something new. Fuck it." Your eyes
Okay.
like tear up just a little bit more from the onions, and like the hand on the cover like winks at you. You wink
What the
back.
fuck?
You like get, rub your eyes, and it's back to normal. So you are making yourself a goddamn dinner of hamburger helper. It is a very good evening to be Aaron Brooks. You think to yourself. You eat your hamburger helper.
Single and ready to mingle.
Yeah.
Is this like a potato base? Is it noodle based? Is it rice based?
It
What's the flavor profile of this thing?
it's a new so it's noodle based, and essentially what it is you definitely it tastes, there's some spice to it. There is the perfect amount of heat, a grown amount of heat. You think to yourself,
What the fuck?
this is heat for grown-ups.
Gross.
There's also like a strong taste of like a Doritos Cool Ranch.
All right.
A
Now we're talking.
surprise, but a welcome surprise, as you wiggle your little toesy woesies
Oh, come on.
as it slides down that tight little throat of yours.
So I'm cooking an entire white onion.
Well, you're
I'm
throwing it in with
assuming,
other stuff.
yeah, but I'm assuming that it's like an entire pound of ground beef and and a box of hamburger helper, and I'm just
Yeah.
crushing the entire thing.
So you eat
Am I correct in that
you eat
assumption?
you eat three-quarters of it. You think to yourself as you like wrap up that quarter of a
Single and ready to mingle.
single and ready to mingle noodles and beef. You look at it and you go, "I'll see you soon."
Ugh,
Put it into your fridge. You go outside. You have to like take the garbage out. You think to yourself, "Tomorrow's garbage day," and so you go outside, and as you do it, you see this like it's like two kids, maybe they're like brothers or something, walking down the street. You know, they're
yeah,
like they appear to be like maybe around like 10 or like 12, but it's kind of hard to tell.
sure.
And
Definitely preteens.
yeah, for sure. And
Okay.
you go up and you put your garbage can out in the street, and you turn, and they see you, and then they both go, "Oh my gosh, it's Aaron Brooks."
I don't like this.
So you put out a you are starting to put out a lot more content, a few years down the road. So you
No.
you start like a web series where it's you just reviewing like modern toys and comparing them to the toys of your youth. And it's called Toy Boy Reviews.
The toy boy.
So you're playing with so what you'll do is you're like, "Look, this is what I had growing up, okay? I had this Spider-Man. He could only like, do you only had barely any points of articulation on it, you know what I mean? It's just a very basic, action figure. And now comparing it to the action figures of today and seeing how they, measure up. And it's sort of like a thing where you're talking about, you know, Larry Bird playing in the modern NBA. What would that be like? It's kind of like that. But it usually devolves to you just like kind of ranting about like modern toys and how like they suck, and like the ones that you had growing up were better. But it's funny, you know what I mean? And so especially
The
amongst
fact that I'm
kids.
calling myself the fucking toy boy is the issue here. You know?
Yeah. You're wearing a
Toys.
beanie. You're wearing a
Like,
beanie
fuck,
that has
Pat, come
like a
on.
propeller. And
Pat,
whenever a lot of times when you do like a punchline, like it'll like spin. You know what I mean? Just like an extra added visual joke.
oh
The
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
And
cool. That
so
fucking sucks. The toy boy.
no, the Toy Boy rules, dude. People are into it. You know, they see
I'm
you.
not. I don't want to be known as the fucking toy boy, Pat.
Why not?
I don't want to be recognized on the street by preteens.
Everybody starts somewhere.
My starting somewhere
The Toy
is
Boy.
being known as the toy boy. I'll be into my 40s at this point. I
Yeah.
can't be called the toy boy at that age.
Why not?
Why the fuck do you think, Pat? Because it's weird. I'm not gonna call myself the toy boy into
But
my 40s.
you do it, and it's not like you do it like, oh, you really mean it. You know, you're being a little silly. That's the difference between you and a lot of these other, toy YouTube personalities is that like you're trying to be a little silly. You're not taking yourself too seriously. You know what I mean?
I got no problem with the content.
Yeah.
It's the toy boy thing that I'm really hung up on, if we're being honest. The toy boy.
Yeah.
So fucking dumb.
Toyboi.
Fuck, come on. Come on, Pat.
So they see you and they're like, Aaron Brooks, wow. And you're like, hey fellas. And they're like, one of them goes, oh, Mr. Brooks, can I get a picture with you? What do you say?
I'm taking out fucking garbage. I probably look like a piece of shit.
Well, no, I mean you're just dressed like in normal clothing, and it's not like you're covered in garbage or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's get a photo.
And so one of them, the older one, pulls out a one of those old school uh, Polaroid instant camera things,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he's like, uh, all right, say cheese, and
Jeez.
it's a kid who is like about your height, you know. So you guys stand next to each other, and he takes a picture, and then they're like, "Wow, thank you so much, Mister." And then they go, "Here's your picture." They give it to you, and then they just walk away.
Why would they do that? Why the fuck would they do that?
You kind of think to yourself, like, wait, what? You look down at the now fully developed photo, and it's the preteen standing next to you, and he's doing the thing where he's giving you like bunny ears, you know, like holding up the peace sign behind your ears,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, that was weird. So you go home and you decide to go to bed early that night. So climb into bed. You put on a some people they fall asleep listening to like white noise or whatever.
Yeah.
You fall asleep listening to lavender noise. So
What the fuck is that?
it's just, a new thing that's been invented a few years down the road, lavender
Yeah, but
noise.
what is it?
It's so what it is it's a type of frequency that kind of just sounds like, it sounds like almost like a whistling noise. It sounds like with a little bit of like static underneath it. The deal with it is that if you're tired enough, you will hear voices in it. And so you fall asleep to it basically to be like, I'm going to sleep before I get too tired, you know? And so that really motivates you to fall asleep.
What kind of
So
voices
you
are we talking about?
it's hard to explain. Like the people who have experienced it, they just kind of go like, they're like, look, the best way I can explain it is to say that it's the voice of the eternal. Anyway, So people are,
Fuck on earth is that?
so it helps
Voice
you
of the
fall asleep.
Eternal?
Helps you fall asleep. The only thing about lavender noise is that gives you it always makes you dream. And it always makes you remember the dream.
You can't say the only thing about this noise is that you remember your dream when you also hear fucking voices when you get tired enough. You can't just say, oh, by the way, the only thing. It's like, no, there are multiple things here that are red flags for me.
Sure. So, you have a dream that you're playing the dream is you on a like desolate basketball uh court by the ocean, and you're playing horse with death. So he never talks. Basically, what it is it's a guy. He is wearing like a black robe uh, that mostly covers his face. His face is in shadow. He plays a basketball, with both hands, but he has a plastic scythe with him, and he honestly he's got a pretty solid outside game. And so you guys are playing horse, and you are getting to like basically the end. You guys both have HORS. Makes you think of hors d'oeuvres, or as you always
Of course
call
it
them,
does.
hors d'oeuvres, until you were like 25.
Yeah.
So what he does is he does this move where he has his back to the hoop and just takes one bony hand and throws it over his head. He's not even like looking. And
Yeah.
as he throws it over his head, the hood comes off, and it's just like a face, perfectly bald face, but it has like Juggalo face paint on, and that fucking ball goes in, swish, nothing but net, almost not even net.
Yeah.
And so it's your turn. You stand. You throw the ball over your own head. You turn around, and the ball like lands on the rim and kind of like rolls around it, almost like it's dancing around a fire at midnight, bouncing
R-
and
rims
bounce.
out.
It just goes around that rim. You wake up.
We teasing that rim.
You wake up the next day, and you're like, well, that was fucking weird. Uh, but you wake up early and refreshed. You bound out of bed, and you go into the to your bathroom. You look into the mirror, and you now have like long rabbit ears.
What the fuck? What the fuck do you mean I have long rabbit ears, Pat?
Like almost, they're not they're not cartoon. They definitely look like real rabbit ears, but it's almost like in the cartoons, like Bugs Bunny ears.
Just like straight up pink on the inside,
Oh yeah,
one of
and
those,
you kind of see
or
that you can
white on
like,
the inside, whatever.
and they almost correspond to like your mood. So at
Ugh,
first
what
you're
the
like
fuck is this bullshit,
you're
Pat?
like bummed out, and so the ears kind of go flat behind your head, and then but then you're like, but you know what? I'm gonna get through this, and they straighten right back up, right and proud and ready to go. So
I
you're
could
like,
not want this less.
what would the first thing you do be?
I'm trying to find out what the fuck is going on with these goddamn ears. Are they attached to my head? Is
Yeah,
it like into my skin?
they come out of where your ears were. Like they're
What?
they're just they go straight up. They're just giant
So
rabbit
I don't
ears
have, are you fucking kidding me? I just have huge rabbit ears now instead of my normal ears.
and very acute hearing. You're finding
I'm so fucking pissed off. Like this
like
sucks. I
the
don't
way
what am I supposed to do, Pat?
you're kind of like freaking out, and you walk over to your back, like near the toilet, and you just like, you gotta, go to the bathroom. So you start pissing, and the sound of it is just so loud in your rabbit ears, dude. And so you kind of spend the next
This sucks.
you you call out of work, and you just spend your weekend like, or your week rather, like figuring out like what the hell to do with these rabbit ears, and you start kind of figuring out how to actually use them, where they're so much stronger than your old ears that you're used to, but you're learning how to like tune out most things. You know what I
They're
mean?
fucking gigantic.
Yeah, they are.
And they react with my mood. So I can't even like hide it all the time. I like this changes so much about my public facing life.
Yeah.
This changes like dude, it would be I'd be called every name in the book, you know?
Yeah.
This would be horrible. This would be life changing.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Because like after you kind of have figured it out, you start realizing that you can like start like hearing things that other people can't, things that you couldn't before. You can hear, you swear, Aaron, that you can hear the blood of your apartment building coursing through its veins,
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Like the
I
building
hate
it's
this.
like the building itself is alive, and you can
How?
hear.
How the fuck is that a thing, Pat? Now the building is alive?
Well, that's the way, like that's the way you have a new way of hearing things, so it's like that's just how it makes no sense, but that's how you
That
feel,
doesn't mean the fucking house comes alive.
it's not like
Just
it
because I
does
got
anything, it's not like it's like, reacting to you or anything, but
I
you
can hear
feel.
its fucking heartbeat, Pat. That's I can hear the heartbeat of a house in my rabbit ears.
but you
That's
choose
fucking terrifying.
but you choose to view it as a metaphor. So
I'm losing my fucking mind.
so you call out of work for the week, to kind of see like, well, what else can I
Great.
hear with this. You take a like a short break because you realize you haven't like eaten all day, so you're just like, you think to yourself, you remember that remaining quarter of a hamburger helper, single and ready to mingle, and you're like, fuck yes. But before you can do anything with it, you hear a voice be like, Aaron, 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 can you hear me? Hear me? Hear me? What do you do?
Fucking ignore it. I ignore it. I focus on the thing that's going to bring me immediate comfort, and that's going to be this food. And I'm losing my goddamn mind. I hate this one so much.
So you just think that to yourself, and you start
It's
cooking
so
up.
invasive.
You just start cooking up that hamburger helper for breakfast, and you hear like the voice louder now, like, Aaron, I know you can hear me. It's like no longer echoing. They go, Aaron, Aaron. It sounds very like regal, like a regal sounding, Elizabethan type of voice or
That
whatever.
doesn't sell it for me. I don't want to deal with anybody. I don't want to
No.
fucking. I'm going through a lot.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is take on anybody else's fucking problems. I have rabbit ears. I have uncontrollable rabbit ears.
Well, you're learning to control them. You're learning how to like, you know, do all kinds of cool stuff with them. You can actually like tie them in a knot. You can like stack them on your head like Marge Simpson. You can do a lot of different stuff with it. You're pretty creative when it comes to your rabbit ears. So,
Can I make it look like when I had normal human ears?
oh no,
Then I don't want this. I don't want any part of this. I'm not helping some fucking random voice,
yeah.
some regal voice. Fuck this. I'm not one of your fucking peasants.
And then you hear the voice, and it sounds like they're right next to you. You hear
God
this
damn it,
this
Pat.
this same regal voice be like, "Aaron, it is I." Suddenly, there's like a flash of light in your kitchen, and
I grab the pan and I swing as hard as I can at wherever that's coming from. I
so
grab the pan. I think,
yeah,
fuck this. I grab it and I swing.
you grab it and you swing, but the light deflects it, and you realize standing in front of you is this woman who is wearing, without a doubt, the fiercest outfit that you have ever seen in your fucking life. And she goes, "Hello, Aaron. It is I, the Yas Queen."
Get the fuck out of my house.
She goes,
Get the fuck
"Head,
out.
head of the Council of Absurd Monarchs."
I don't care.
And she goes, "Aaron, you're the only one who can hear us right now. We need your help."
Fuck you.
Because you're the only one who has the hearing attuned to like be able to hear us. It's so the Council of Absurd Monarchs, she goes on to explain, has been condemned to this like weird other dimension by the Lanalax Corporation. So there's the Yas Queen, normally there, who's projecting herself in front of you currently. Um, she's like, there's also the the Prince of Scoundrels. He's not as
Oh
bad as he
Lord.
sounds. He's a very, actually, a pretty sweet guy once you get to know him. There's the King of Heartbeats and Chet Lightning. And so they've been,
I don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of it. I don't want any part of it.
suddenly the light changes, and standing in front of you is this like dude, and he's like, "Aaron,
I
it's
swing
me."
again. I swing that fucking pan. I
Yeah,
know I deflected it the first time, but I swing it again.
you swing the pan at him, and as he says his name, Chet Lightning, like a lightning strikes the pan out of your hand and it goes
What the
flying.
fuck are you talking about?
Like he goes, "It's me, Chet Lightning."
God, I
Pshoo!
fucking hate this guy.
He goes, "Aaron."
I'm
He's
not
like,
talking to you. Get
he
the fuck
goes,
out of my house.
he goes,
I don't want
he goes, "Aaron, all right, look, I'm gonna just be honest with you,
anybody
man."
else.
He
I don't
goes,
want to
"Look,"
deal with you.
he goes, "I know, man, I know you don't, but this is real, okay?" He goes, "This is a matter of life and death. Look, man, I'm gonna drop the whole act, all right?" He goes, he goes on to explain that the Landox Corporation has exiled them to like this weird dimension that they can't actually like physically appear on our plane of existence, but they can kind of project these images towards you because you can hear them. You're the only one who can hear them with your rabbit ears, and they're like, "You have to help free us. If we're like if we're prisoner for much longer, like all of reality is going to start to get a little nutty." He goes, "Look, man, I know it's going to sound crazy, but there's something about the human consciousness and reality that create people like us, and they need us. And if we're, whether they be, the mighty Thor or whatever, people sometimes need stuff to believe in, baby." Sorry, that slipped out. He goes, "But if we are prisoner much longer, all of reality is going to start to go a little bit crazy." He goes, "Will you help us?"
Look Chet Lightning in his face and I say, go fuck yourself. I'm not helping you. I don't like you. I've never liked you. You've been a pain in the ass so many times to me. Go fuck off.
He kind of like hangs his head in like shame, and he goes, you hear him kind of say, "Looks like the chickens have come home to roost, baby." He disappears in like a flash of lightning.
I hate him so much.
So you spend the rest of your your day off from work, just kind of like listening for stuff. You realize you can hear like everything in the building, so you're listening to people like have really intense conversations because, they think no one's listening, no one can hear them. You hear like several couples break up, you hear like affairs happening,
What a
you
dramatic day in my building.
I
Man,
gotta be honest with you, Aaron. You live in a very, very dramatic apartment complex. There is tea being spilled constantly too. It's known like throughout the greater Los Angeles area as like this is if you're looking for like dramatic, juicy drama, then you tune in to not tune in because it's not a show, but like this is like the apartment complex you have to know about, dude. You will not believe what Sandra in 3B is up to.
I don't want to live in a place like that. I don't want to live in a place like that.
But it's pretty affordable. I mean, you stay out of other people's shit. It's not like you're sucked into this or anything. You're just, in that apartment complex.
But now I can hear all of it, Pat.
But it is juicy,
I don't care
Aaron.
how juicy it is.
It's like your ears are biting into a freshly peeled fucking orange. So you kind of
I
sit there and
don't
like
care about the juice. I don't want to live in an apartment complex where I'm hearing intense conversations and breakups and affairs happening all the time.
so that's kind of what you end up doing is everything in your apartment
What the
complex,
fuck?
there's just so much like drama happening and there's so many like rumors going around for you to figure out that you just sort of like stop going into work. You just hang out in your like, apartment all day, just kind of like listening. And there is, I mean, gallons of tea being fucking spilled, brother.
I hate this.
And you don't need any sugar. You're sweet enough as is.
Come on.
So you kind of just like sit there for like, weeks and weeks at a time, just ordering, out for food and shit like that. Eventually, because of the Council of Absurd Monarchs are in prison for too long, all of reality does start to like slowly fade away, but you don't
What the
notice because you're just sitting in your fucking apartment, just listening into all of the drama that is happening at Green Tower apartment complex. And so your apartment building is actually the last thing to like fade out of existence. It kind of fades out like
Yeah, great.
floor by floor. Yours is
Who
the final
cares?
floor. And you realize that you're the only person left when you realize you can't hear anything
That fucking sucks. That whole
except
thing sucks.
except the voice of Chet Lightning saying, Aaron, you fucked us all, baby. You couldn't get
Fuck
past
him.
your own prejudices, babe. And then you fade out of existence.
Great. Good fucking riddance. That sucks from the jump.